Every night, one star disappeared. At first, nobody noticed. The sky was still beautiful, still endless, still full of light, but as the nights passed, more stars vanished, one after another, until people began to whisper that the heavens were dying. The elders called it nature. The priests called it destiny. Everyone accepted it, everyone except one boy. His name was Kai. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't chosen by fate. He was simply the only person who could hear the stars. Every evening, while the village slept behind locked doors, Kai climbed the same lonely hill carrying an old lantern. The villagers laughed whenever they saw him. Still talking to the sky? Kai never answered, because he wasn't talking, he was listening. The stars weren't silent, they were crying, and on one unforgettable night, their cries became a scream. A brilliant light tore across the darkness. The earth trembled, the forest beyond the hill exploded with blue light. The forest was different that night. The trees were silent, the wind had stopped, even the animals had disappeared. Kai walked deeper into the darkness, holding his old lantern tightly. The blue light ahead grew brighter with every step. His heart told him to turn back. But something else, something he couldn't explain, pulled him forward. At the center of the forest, he found a crater surrounded by glowing flowers. In the middle of it, was a girl. She looked like a human. But she wasn't. Her silver hair shimmered like moonlight. Her eyes carried the color of distant galaxies. And tiny stars floated around her like fireflies. Kai slowly stepped closer. "Are you the star that fell from the sky?" The girl opened her eyes. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she whispered, "I am not a star. I am what remains of one." Kai didn't understand, but he could feel her sadness. It was the same sadness he heard every night, coming from the sky. The girl tried to stand, but her light began to fade. Kai quickly reached out and caught her. "Who are you?" he asked. The girl looked toward the empty sky, and with a quiet voice, she answered, "My name is Lyra. I came here because the stars are dying." Kai looked upward. Thousands of stars were missing. The darkness between them was growing. "Why?" Kai asked. Lyra closed her eyes. "Because humans have forgotten how to dream." And at that moment, Kai realized something terrifying. The stars were not disappearing because the sky was changing. They were disappearing because people's hope was fading. Kai looked at Lyra in silence. He wanted to believe she was wrong. He wanted to believe the stars were simply fading. But deep inside, he already knew the truth. He had heard their sadness for years. "What do you mean? Humans have forgotten how to dream?" Kai asked. Lyra looked toward the sky. Her eyes reflected the empty spaces where stars once shined. Long ago, every human dream created a star. Every hope, every promise, every impossible wish someone refused to give up on, became a light in the sky. Kai stared upward. For the first time, he understood. The stars were not just lights. They were memories. They were courage. They were the dreams people carried in their hearts. Then why are they disappearing? Kai whispered. Lyra lowered her head. Because people stop believing. A child dreams of becoming an artist, but someone tells them they will never succeed. A person dreams of changing the world, but failure makes them afraid to try again. Little by little, their dreams become weaker. And when a dream completely disappears, the star connected to it falls from the sky. Kai looked at the fallen star beside them. So every fallen star was someone who gave up. Lyra nodded. Yes, and soon, the final star will fall. A cold wind passed through the forest. The lantern in Kai's hand flickered. What happens then? Kai asked. Lyra looked at him with sadness. When the last star disappears, humanity will forget how to hope. Kai looked at the dark sky. He thought about his own life. The dreams he had lost. The things he stopped believing were possible. Maybe, he was not so different from the stars. How can we stop it? Kai finally asked. For the first time that night, Lyra smiled. We find the dreams that were abandoned, and help them shine again. But before Kai could answer, the ground began to shake. Far away in the mountains, another star began to fall. The next morning, Kai left the village for the first time. He carried only 3 things. His old lantern, his small bag, and a promise. A promise to find the dreams that people had abandoned. Lyra walked beside him. Although she came from the stars, she was beginning to understand humans. She learned that people were not weak because they failed. They were weak when they stopped trying. Their journey took them across mountains, through forests, and into forgotten villages where dreams had slowly disappeared. In the first village, they met an old painter named Ren. When he was young, Ren wanted to create paintings that would inspire the world. His paintings were full of color, full of life, But one day, someone told him his art was meaningless. After hearing those words again and again, Ren put down his brush and never painted again. Kai found him sitting in a quiet room surrounded by unfinished paintings. "Why did you stop?" Kai asked. The old man smiled sadly. "Because I realized my dream was impossible." Kai looked at the empty canvas. A dream doesn't disappear because it is impossible. It disappears when we stop giving it a chance. Ren looked at the young boy. After many years, he picked up his brush again. Slowly, color returned to his world. And high above the village, a forgotten star began to shine. Lyra watched the star return. "You see," she whispered, "even the smallest hope can light up the sky." But their journey was only beginning. Many more stars were waiting to be saved. And somewhere in the darkness, the final star was growing weaker. Days passed, and with every step, Kai and Lyra restored more forgotten dreams. A musician who played again. A child who started believing in impossible things. A traveler who finally returned home. Every dream that returned created a new light in the sky. But even with thousands of stars shining again, one star continued to fade. The last star, the star that connected everything. Lyra became quieter as they traveled closer to the mountain of stars. Kai noticed. "You're hiding something from me," he said. Lyra stopped walking. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she looked at him and smiled. "I was never meant to stay here." Kai froze. "What do you mean?" Lyra looked toward the sky. "I am not a fallen star. I am the final star." The wind became silent. Kai couldn't move. "No," he whispered. "There must be another way." Lyra smiled gently. "Every star has a purpose. Mine was to guide you here." Kai looked down. For the first time in years, he had found someone who understood him. Someone who saw the loneliness he tried to hide. And now, he was about to lose her. "I don't want the sky," Kai said quietly. "I don't want all the stars. I just want you to stay." Lyra looked at him with tears in her eyes. "Kai, that is why humans are so beautiful. Even when they know something will end, they still choose to love." They finally reached the mountain of stars. A place where the sky and earth became one. Thousands of stars surrounded them. But the final light was fading. And Kai had one final choice to make. Save the star, or let go of the person who became his reason to hope. The mountain was silent. Above them, the entire universe was waiting. Kai stood beside Lyra, looking at the fading star that held the fate of the sky. He remembered every person they had helped. The painter who picked up his brush again. The musician who found his song. The child who started believing in impossible dreams. They were all proof that hope was never truly gone. Kai looked at Lyra. "There has to be another way." Lyra smiled softly. "Maybe there is." Kai looked surprised. "What do you mean?" Lyra placed her hand over his lantern. "All this time, you thought you were searching for the stars. But the stars were searching for someone like you." The lantern in Kai's hand began to glow, brighter than ever before. "A star is not created by wishing," Lyra whispered. "It is created when someone chooses hope, even in the darkest moment." Kai finally understood. The stars did not need someone to save them. They needed someone to remind the world how to shine. Kai closed his eyes, and he made his choice. He didn't choose the sky. He didn't choose to keep Lyra. He chose to give everyone a reason to believe again. A warm golden light spread across the mountain. The darkness in the sky began to disappear. One by one, the fallen stars returned. The final star began to shine. But Lyra's light started fading. Kai reached for her hand. "Will I ever see you again?" Lyra smiled through her tears. "Look at the sky. Whenever someone chooses hope, I will be there." Her body transformed into thousands of tiny lights. They rose into the heavens, becoming the brightest star in the sky. Years passed. The village never forgot the night when the stars returned. Children grew up hearing the story of a boy who chased a fallen star, and reminded the world that dreams were never truly lost. Kai still climbed the same hill every night. He still carried the old lantern. And whenever he looked at the brightest star, it always seemed to shine a little brighter. Because some people leave your life, but the hope they give you stays forever. And sometimes, the brightest light in the universe is the one we create inside each other. Before you go, if this story touched your heart, please support the channel by leaving a like and subscribing. Your support helps us create more emotional stories like this one. And I want to hear from you. What story should we tell next? A story about lost love? A mysterious fantasy world? Or a journey that changes someone's life forever? Write your idea in the comments. The next story might be inspired by you. Thank you for watching. Until the next adventure, keep believing in the impossible.